Good morning and welcome to another webisode of All Politics Are Local. I'm WSAV Digital Reporter Jon Dowding. Every week we take the time to break down the local impact of news coming from Washington, D.C. with one of our reporters from Capitol Hill. Let's jump right in. Last week, a group of Republican lawmakers interrupted impeachment proceedings by storming into a closed deposition. Georgia Congressman Buddy Carter was amongst that group. It happened Wednesday, causing a 5-hour delay to the impeachment testimony. Carter claims even though there's Republicans involved in the process, they are being restricted behind closed doors.
What do you want to tell your constituents who believe that you're now a rule breaker?
What I want them to know is that the rules are being broken by the Democratic Party in the way that they are handling these proceedings, and that we need sunlight. These should be open hearings that people have access to. Certainly a member of Congress.
And now joining us live from Capitol Hill, as always, is WSAV Washington correspondent Kellie Meyer. How are you doing, Kellie?
I'm doing well, John. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Good, good. Thanks for being here. All right, so let's jump right into this. What motivated GOP members to storm this impeachment proceedings, especially a closed-door deposition hearing?
Yeah, well, it was a few weeks of this buildup from Republican members over on the House side. So there are 3 committees that are looking into the impeachment inquiry, and there are Republicans on those committees that are allowed into these meetings. But the Republicans that you saw on Wednesday kind of storming through the doors there, those were Republicans that weren't allowed to be in there. They weren't Republicans that are on those committees. But what Democrats were trying to say was, we are letting Republicans in, but Republicans on those respective committees. If you're not on the committee, you can't be let in. And they were saying that's because of the privacy of the witness they are hearing from and the secrecy of it. But of course, Republicans are saying that it's secretive. They don't know what's going on behind these closed doors, and they were just fed up and charged through them on Wednesday, some with their cell phones, which is a big no-no to go in there into these closed rooms where they sweep for security purposes. So it did cause a big uproar. It caused some condemnation from both sides. We heard from Senator Lindsey Graham, who came out with his own condemnation of it, resolution on the Senate side. And at first he was wondering how they did it, but said it was a peaceful protest, and he agreed with them and agreed that they were in the right to make a stand like they did.
And I mean, why are Democratic members of Congress trying to be so protective and trying to be so private about what is going on behind closed doors?
I think it's the information they're working with and the witnesses they're working with, and what, you know, I think it's just it's a private meeting. They want to make sure that they look into the facts before they release any information, but they are saying that it is a bipartisan effort. There are Republicans and Democrats in the room. There are Republicans and Democrats involved in the questioning, and there are these 3 committees that are handling this inquiry as quickly as they can, because they really are saying that they want to wrap this up by the holidays. So then they could kind of go into, of course, 2020 is going to be a big and busy year. Yeah.
And before we move into our next topic, 2 other quick questions. One, the 3 committees that you mentioned who are investigating, are they all House side committees?
Yes.
Okay.
They are all House side committees, and it is just the House side that looks into it. So the House is going to be looking into it first, and as they wrap up and vote, then that may be sent over to the Senate side, and then it would go into a trial, which we have heard Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell would move into a trial. He's very big on process. He's very big on the rules here in Congress, and he said he will stand by those and let the facts do the talking. Okay.
And so we know, like you just said, it's all been in the House. And who was the person that the committees were hearing from on Wednesday?
So we have the ones that are in there are, I believe it's oversight. We have Intel, of course. Adam Schiff is the main one on there and the main one leading these. And then I believe we have financial services. So every member, and you could go and look up, anyone can look up and see who serves on those committees. what members, if you have any, like we saw with Buddy Carter, is not on one of the committees. He can't go in, but there are members that you can see and see if there's someone in the area that you know that's going in there, and they will be hearing this testimony, hearing from these witnesses, and be able to say how they feel.
Okay. Well, we will definitely be tuning into more as more developments come from the impeachment proceedings, and I'm sure you will be as well. All right, next topic is switching gears here. Many Democratic presidential candidates were recently just across the river in South Carolina for the 2020 Bipartisan Justice Center event Saturday at Benedict College, and joining them was President Donald Trump. President Trump's visit in Columbia brought opposition from several groups, and they protested his appearance at Benedict College, which is a historically black college or university. At the event, the school awarded Trump their Bipartisan Justice Award for work on criminal justice reform, and Democratic presidential hopeful Kamala Harris pulled out of the forum over organizers' handling of the president's appearance. She said she objected to the group's decision to give Trump the same award she received in 2016.
First step is good because that allows a second step and a third step, and that's okay, because we can go there too.
And so, as we saw, there were backlash from a lot of people who were outside that forum going on in South Carolina. So, Kellie, let's talk about this a little bit. You know, what were some of the things we saw come out of this forum? And you said you actually also covered what the president was saying during his appearance in South Carolina.
Yeah, we were at the White House on Friday talking with someone that helped him craft the legislation and the reforms that they're looking into in that First Step Act, and where they go into the second and third, as he mentioned in that clip you just heard there. So we were working on that story. We heard his speech. As you saw, he did receive that 2019 Bipartisan Justice Award. And what we've seen here on Capitol Hill is this issue is fairly bipartisan. There were Republicans and Democrats coming together on this issue of criminal justice reform. When I interviewed an expert on the issue on Thursday ahead of this event, they said that President Trump is a businessman, and this is good for business. It's good for business to get more people out of jail, get them back into the workforce, and help the economy. So he sees this as a win-win. So he's been very vocal on this. And of course, he opened those remarks on Friday, and then we saw some of the Democratic candidates come over throughout the weekend. As you mentioned, Harris pulled out, but then did end up rejoining. Most of them were going in to share their platforms on criminal justice reform as they head into the 2020 season.
So it was a way for everybody to kind of jump on the same page as on this topic, which, like you just said, a lot of people on both sides of the aisle have been doing. I guess it's just something else that we're going to have to keep watching for. So thank you so much for joining us, as always, Kellie. And you can see more of Kellie's stories on our website at wsav.com/Washington. Thank you so much, Kellie.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And as always, WSAV News 3 is your local election headquarters, so make sure to stick with WSAV throughout the entire election season. And thank you again for watching. I'm Jon Dowding. We'll see you again next week on All Politics Are Local.